I paint a lot from photos that I take, and sometimes I find that one photo just doesn't do it. There are many instances where I find I need to combine a couple of photos, especially if I've got a really great shot of one subject and then another great shot of another subject in separate photos. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that process of combining two different things. So in the painting I have on screen, I actually did exactly that. I took photos of my two daughters, and they're totally separate scenes, and I tried to bring them together. This was a pretty easy exercise, I think, because I didn't do any background. I wasn't trying to make a specific scene or something that made organic sense. It was just really head and shoulders of both of them. There was a little trying to make it like kind of organic, but not. I didn't worry too much about it. I just wanted to practice portraits of each of them, so not too bad. So one of the things you can always do, of course, with all of the technology and digital resources we have is combine two photos. You can use Photoshop to do this, or one of the things that I like to do, kind of a cheaper solution, is take two photos, paste them into Microsoft Excel, and use the remove background feature to kind of superimpose two subjects into a specific third image background. So that's kind of a way you can configure that, get yourself a nice digital image, select everything in Excel and paste it into Microsoft Paint, save that JPEG. Now you got a kind of a hybrid image that you can use as a reference. So that works. Or if you have enough practice, as I did with this one, I just took the two photos and just painted them. I've worked a lot on freehand painting over the last 2 years, or maybe a little longer now. So I just looked at each reference one at a time and just painted from them. So that, of course, is an option as well. There are some challenges, though, with that. And one of them, I think, is just inherent to trying to paint from a digital photo that you take, which is the distortion effect of these lenses. Now, I am not a photography expert, so I don't know all the physics behind lenses, why there are certain distortion behaviors, but I do know that distortion occurs, and I saw it in this reference that I was using, particularly for my oldest daughter on the right side. So one of the things that can happen is as subjects are kind of to the periphery of a scene that you're photographing, you can get a kind of a lens distortion that sort of warps perspective a little bit, or kind of stretches certain features. That is something that I don't really know enough of. As I said, I don't know enough about photography to fully explain it or to even prevent it, but I do know that I find, at least when a subject is in the middle of the photo, that helps a bit. Doesn't fix everything, though. So that's one consideration. Then the other, of course, is perspective. I think that I kind of got it a little right here. You know, the viewpoint that I have here is perhaps my oldest daughter on the right is a little bit behind my youngest daughter. They're roughly in similar positions relative to the imaginary camera that's in front of them. The imaginary camera being that's capturing both of them, right? I kind of got that right. Again, I didn't worry too much about getting everything right. I was just kind of doing this as an exercise to try to work on their likenesses. You know, that's a concern. You want to make sure you get your proportions right, and that when you're freehanding, that's obviously always kind of tricky. So the thing that I mentioned, combining the digital images before you paint even, that can help mitigate some of that. But even then, it's not always foolproof. I think really optimally, if you can, painting from life is probably going to give you the best, least distorted view of your subjects, especially if you've got two subjects. Now, obviously, my two subjects are kids, and they are probably not going to want to sit still for an hour and a half while I paint them. That's kind of a tall order. But so this is a good second best, though, is doing photo references. So just some thoughts about bringing two subjects together in photos and then trying to paint from those. That is kind of all I had on this. I appreciate you watching and hope to see you for the next video.